Welcome everyone to another interesting day on planet Earth, and we are currently on the 8th of April 2024. And if you're anywhere in the world, you probably have heard that tomorrow in the US, which will be their 8th, there will be a solar eclipse. And there's certainly been a lot of talk around that. There's been a talk about the CERN Hadron Collider being activated. There's been talk about NASA firing 3 rockets into the eclipse for who knows what. Alien invasions, you name it, earthquakes, it's being talked about. And as always, very, very strongly by the media. And if we look back over the years, anytime the media is talking strongly about something, it is basically to harness our consciousness and keep it focused in one direction. So, probably like you and me, many of us have been able to step back and go, oh, isn't that interesting, without getting into the drama too much. And we will wake up tomorrow because it will be, I think the eclipse is at 4:47 a.m. in the morning, so I certainly won't be up at that time. But for those in the afternoon in the USA, they will be watching the eclipse move over for a period of time. So I wanted to share with you a little control that we do of Grigori Grabovoi. So I'm just going to share my screen with you. And I'd love to share this little practice with you so you can get used to it. I've just come off a call with a European group, and I was doing the creative process today in the daily methods of concentration, and this is what I presented to them. So perhaps this will benefit you as well. Grigori Grabovoi has written a book and talked about the field of creating information. And there's some really interesting information about how our world is constructed and how what structures are around us. Now, around us, we have a 1 meter sphere, and some people call this their personal space. So when somebody steps into it, they feel like somebody's coming too close to them. Around that 1 meter sphere is a 5 meter sphere, so 10 meters in diameter, but 5 meters around you. And within that 5 meter sphere, from where you are in your 1 meter sphere, right out to the outside, uh, inside edge of your 5 meter sphere, is where you create your reality, especially when your consciousness is focused, and especially when you are very highly emotional. You are really powering up what you're focusing on. Now, because we often don't understand that when we are interacting in the outer world, whether it is you meet somebody who is negative, or you go to a large shopping center and there's a lot of energy around there, or you are listening to the narrative from the outside world, some of that information from the outside world, if captures your thinking and you feel like you're in some fear, some of that distortion stays in your 5 meter sphere, and it has an impact in how you create. So, Grigori Grabovoi, in one of his other books, talks about the netting of the world. The netting of the world is basically the matrix of the world. And you can see around this, I've put a matrix of time and space that's 8 dimensions of time and 10 dimensions of space. So 80 dimensions of consciousness in all. And so this is a little exercise I want to take you through today. And you need to get quiet before you do this. So perhaps some deep breathing will get you into a space, and just take your head out of the equation and allow your creative part of you, just your imagination, to allow you to play without having to work out, am I doing this right? And is this the right, or what am I imagining it? So when you imagine yourself inside your matrix, inside your 5 meter sphere, and you're looking around your 5 meter sphere, do you notice there's any dark little geometric deformed shapes? Or do you notice there's any cloudiness or darkness in any area of your 5 meter sphere. Perhaps you're not even somebody who can see, and you're more somebody that feels or has a sense of. So if you're that person, then defocus your eyes, just like when you're daydreaming and or staring off into the distance where your eyes are not too focused, and you start to move into the remote areas of your consciousness, and you can get a sense of the image. So for me, who I'm more sensitive, so I would look into my inner world, defocused, and I would see, do I get a feel that there's some information there? Yes, absolutely. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use uh, create a silvery white sphere that is as large as my 5 meter sphere. And inside that sphere and on the outside of the sphere, I'm going to put the formula for the transformation of the energy of life, E equals VS, which just happens to be the name of our business. And I wonder why. This formula transforms any distorted information into the norm of the creator. So what you're going to do is imagine around your 5 meter sphere this large silvery white sphere which has E equals VS. And then you're going to instruct this creator sphere on what your objective would be, and it is to shrink in, deform, shrink in and capture all distorted information. So you imagine it's going through all the areas of time and space of your consciousness, right through your 5 meter sphere, right through your 1 meter sphere, until it forms a very small sphere in front of your heart. And once you get a sense that there is that very small sphere in front of your heart, then imagine now you take that sphere, which has all the distorted information that doesn't belong in your 5 meter sphere, and place it outside your 5 meter sphere where there is a silver cube. And this is where we send any distorted information into the silver cube of the creator for further development, meaning that the creator handles it. I don't need to look at that distorted information, and he helps to further develop the distortion so it is in harmony. And then once you've done that, just be aware of how you feel in or around your physical body. You might have had a tingling on your skin or felt a warmth. All that is telling that you removed some distortions that may be impacting you. But just practice with this. And if you do that every day, just before you get out of bed or when you've been into a large shopping centre, you'll start to feel the difference and start to know the difference between when your energy is clear, when your matrix, when your 5 meter sphere is clear, and then what happens when it's not clear, when you may feel a pressure in your neck or your stomach starts bloating or you're feeling absolutely exhausted or tired for no reason. All this is telling you, yes, there's some information within your matrix that is causing some impact on your physical being. So as we move through the last of the 8th of April, where you are in Australia or wherever you are in the USA when you're watching this, just be aware of any distortions from the outside world that may be triggering you. And as we often say, don't allow it to dock on you, meaning to land and have an effect on your physicality as well as your psychological thinking and as well as your emotions. So I hope that helps for today, and have a wonderful day, and see you on the other side of the 8th of April. See you, everyone.